Aloha, and well, we're in the kitchen here, Hodo and I, and we're going to do a workshop on multi-action herbal parasite and parasite egg detoxification cleanse. That's a long title. So this is a workshop on utilizing 4 specific herbs that I've chosen here with a recipe that I've been using for over 20 years with excellent results once we go ahead and figure out how to use herbs, spices, resins in a way for parasites, because there are many different herbs, hundreds of them, that you could use for parasites. So I've chosen 4 different, forgot about Hodo. I chose 4, you want a pistachio? I've chose 4 different, what I would call beginning and intermediate level cleanse. So first of all, what is a parasite? Why would you even want to do a cleanse? When's the last time that you've done a cleanse? I mean, those are just questions to ask. And I've done lots of videos just to throw out the idea, okay? Do you think that you have parasites? How about everybody has parasites? Everything has parasites. Hody has parasites. And remember, parasites are anything that can cause some type of negative reaction and or just expense of another organism without giving anything back to the host. Okay, so this is, parasite. You could have parasitic friends. You could have parasites on your skin. They're called ectoparasites. You could have parasites in your body, endoparasites, and these parasites, of course, are pretty bizarre once you look into them. I'm just finishing now of about 180 pages on anti-parasitic medications. That'll be coming out shortly. Just went ahead and finished doing ice massage and cold therapy for stiff pain, muscles, and joints. This is a really good one for you to go ahead and look at. Yeah, what do you think, Hodo? And this one's like 40 pages long. Remember, we're here to try to see if we can learn from each other. So I put a lot of time and energy in the descriptions here on how to do things, and also a lot of links so you could really learn this stuff, because part of you being your own doctor is to really understand what you're doing, what other people are doing, and a list of information that I can start you off with, but as you get going, you always want to do further research on your own, just to see what's out there that you find. And maybe, remember, research is not easy to do, is because there's a lot of stuff out there that's not right. There just is. And it takes a long time, so you can't just go on Google and hit the first search there. So anyways, let me put that down here. Let's go over, okay, remember, parasites can go in invertebrates, which are animals or anything that has a spine, or without a spine, and vertebrates. Okay, so they can go into anything with a spine, anything without a spine. Okay, adult parasites may live, like I said, on the host, and you can get a variety of different skin funguses. And most people that I see have Tinea versicolor, and we've done lots of videos on how to get rid of, or at least reduce, most of the Tinea versicolor, which is skin fungus, holly rot on your body. So look up that video, Tinea versicolor. And there's many different herbal types of detoxification that we've done before. You have to look at the parasites tab and go ahead and look through a lot of different videos that we've done with various different ways to be able to neutralize and or exterminate certain types of parasites. So one of the ones you may want to look at is oregano oil. That's a workshop that we did. Go in thoroughly with that, very effective. Another one is on using Bacopa monieri. These are all separate. That's a resin. Okay, so let's just go over, first of all, remember, parasites, they have teeth, some of them drink blood, some of them just process your foods, but they all will poop in the body, and this is what everybody needs to understand. Parasites not only steal from your table, but they also infect you with their toxic feces. They give off ammonia. They give off all different types of very toxic things, okay, just like your feces is toxic, okay, except for the plants. But parasites are not your friend, no matter what anybody says. If you didn't have one parasite in your body, do you think that's going to go ahead and do you good or do you bad? I haven't found a parasite that's beneficial to you yet, okay, to anybody. So remember, this cleanse is to eradicate and support getting rid of some of the egg hatchery. Parasites, sometimes like the pig tapeworm, will reproduce 1 million eggs every couple of days. That's ridiculous. 100,000 eggs a day, a lot of them. 20,000 eggs, 10,000 eggs, doesn't matter. That's a lot of little babies that colonize. So just because you get rid of some of the adults, you just got another infestation, and usually up to 21 days or so when everything else starts to matricate and go ahead and actually mature again. So this is a multi-action, okay, I call it a anti-parasite cleanse. So I call this specific multi-layered therapy and recipe, it's a dual action, is because we're going to work on the parasites themselves and also work on their eggs at the same time. So because remember, you got eggs that are going to hatch, and you've got young larvae, and you've got also adults. And the adults, just like anything, they're a lot harder to poison or kill or to get rid of than the little ones. Because the little ones, of course, they're easier, but they sometimes are in colonies, which means if you have body fat, remember yeast, mold, fungus, candida, these are all creatures that live in the body that feed off of certain things. Okay, so this is specifically for intestinal. Part 2, I'll show you how to combine the different herbs, but let's go over the herbs right now. So the 4 specific anti-parasitic ingredients, okay, first one is organic cloves. And I'll go over these briefly here on each one, but read the description. The description, I go into them very deeply. Remember, you want to learn. There's a lot of stuff to learn. We're going to use the Artemisia absinthium wormwood. And you've probably heard of wormwood before, and there's many different types. We're going to use the absinthium species for this one. You can also use the Annua species, which is a little more aggressive, but we're going to use the one that they used to make a lot of alcohol, absinthe, right? And that was for parasites. It was a tonic. They used to make it, they still do make it. It's just, it's hard to find. First one was cloves. Second one was wormwood. Third one is turkey rhubarb. All these ingredients must be organic. You got to find the best of the best of the best ingredients. If not, all you're doing is taking toxic different types of herbs and or herbs that have no strength to them because they're not processed right. These are all vacuumed. I try to go ahead and get all vacuum sealed bags because they can last for years in that. Once you open up any of these bags, they go in the refrigerator though. So turkey rhubarb. Okay, and this is a root, and it's a very powerful root for letting the intestinal tract go ahead and slough off material. Take too much of this, and of course, you have to watch all these herbs is because they do have some cautions that go along with them. We're also going to use black walnut hulls, okay, and we're going to use a certain combination of these herbs and put them in enteric-coated capsules or regular veggie capsules. I'll tell you the difference, but we're going to go over a lot of the information on part 2 because it's just too much sensitivity on social media here, especially when you say the big P word, right? The big P word, parasite. So what's so special about cloves? Think about it. Cloves you go ahead and use as a spice, right? Tastes really good. A lot of times people will use that, remember, part of some type of special drink that you make. Maybe you put it in your tea. I use clove every day. So we're going to use a whole clove, and of course we're going to grind them up, but I'll show you, like I said, in part 2. But cloves have a special compound in them called eugenol, and eugenol has been shown to be anti-parasitic, and remember they used it for anesthesiology, for the mouth, for people, for dentistry. Cloves have been used for many different things. Okay, let me just go through here just a couple things so I can go ahead and show you. We'll go through in a minute here the symptoms of parasites because that's very important, but just let's go over just a couple of these guys here. So clove has eugenol, and that is specifically to go ahead and break down some of the egg casing. That's what it's said to do. The eugenol goes in, and the eggs have a very bulletproof casing on them, right? So this has been found to be able to help break down the casing of the wall so the eggs will not maturate. You want another one? You want one? Oh, those are good. He loves pistachios. So Black walnut hulls. Okay, they have a chemical compound called juglone, right? So this is a very potent herb. And I'm going to read, they all have warnings on the labels. Okay, so this is the black walnut hulls powder. And this is from the United States, organic. Warning, prolonged use is not advised due to the presence of significant quantities of juglone or juglone, a known mutagen in animals may contain walnuts. Okay, you don't want to take any of this stuff if you think you're pregnant or you're pregnant. You just want it. Remember, these are poisons. These are small amounts of poison. Okay, because they're called plant poisons. These are called phytoalexin, and every plant has poisons. These just have different types of compounds. Some have oxalates, remember, lectins, okay, all different types of plant poisons, phytic acid. Okay, so this one here, this is on the wormwood, and this is, again, Artemisia absinthium. Okay, warning, not to be used during pregnancy, not to be used while nursing, not to be used for long-term use, do not exceed the recommended dose. And of course they say daily servings, pour 8 to 12 ounces of boiling water, 212 degrees over 1 teaspoon of tea, steep to 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, these are super bitter, these herbs. The wormwood, the black walnut hulls, and the rhubarb. Remember, rhubarb is loaded full of oxalates. Remember, these are poisons. Rhubarb is specifically to be able to get the intestinal tract to move. So this is why we're using these in combination, because they synergistically work with each other. Remember, the clove works on the eggs. Okay, the black walnut hulls, that works on the parasites. And you can read how it does it, but it works on the parasites specifically, the physical ones. Okay, remember the eggs, cloves, wormwood, another poison, and of course that works on specifically the parasites, only in the intestinal tract pretty much. They do have a propensity to be able to get through the body, but this cleanse is specifically for the intestinal wall. And rhubarb, let's just read the ingredients, the notice. This product contains rhubarb root. Read it and follow directions carefully. Do not use if you have or develop diarrhea, loose stools, or abdominal pain, because rhubarb root may worsen these conditions and be harmful to your health. Consult a physician if you have frequent diarrhea or if you are pregnant, nursing, or taking any medication, or have any medical condition. Remember, herbs aren't to play around with. That's why I said on part 2 we'll go through a lot of these pieces, and I've used lots of herbs that are way too aggressive, not for everybody, but for some people. Maybe you're that one person, okay? Because remember, a lot of people, if you got a gut out to here from the side, you've got a lot of stuff that lives in your intestinal tracts. This is specifically for intestines, specifically. So let's just go over some symptoms of parasitic infection. And again, Earther Academy got lots of different things for you to be able to detox your body, because the amount of toxicity you have in your body goes hand in hand with the amount of parasites that you can hold. You have less toxicity, less parasites. More toxicity, more parasites, and easy to get them. Low toxicity, your body's very strong. Okay? And it's very hard for you to be able to get sick from parasites, at least from the people that would be, of course, full of, and remember, toxicity could be chemicals, could be petrochemicals, could be synthetic chemicals, could be just different endocrine disruptors, just whatever chemicals are in your body. These are poisons that are in your system that are synthetic. Because unless you do these types of cleanses, and it's all experiments, guys. All I had to do is, I've seen lots and lots of people throughout my time being a doctor. I did 15 years of practice. I even wrote some background in here so you can understand where I'm coming from. I've been studying parasites for over 40 years. 15 years of practice, I saw over 100,000 patient visits. I was on a mission. I was working 7 days a week, 6 days a week full time, and 7 days, well, that's Sunday. I used to go ahead and come see people when they had an emergency. Okay, so I'd come in almost every Sunday, sometimes twice a day. So I have always had a lot of patients, always, because I was on a mission. And people knew that I cared for their well-being. And I wasn't just there just to give them the minimal amount. No, I'm giving them more than they've ever had. trying to open up their mind in different areas, different ways. Okay, so if you have diarrhea or constipation, difficulty in defecation, you got problems. Just remember that. Your diet could be crummy, you could be dehydrated. Okay, remember you have to change all these pieces. Most likely you're full of parasites. And not only parasites inside, remember if you're eating a lot of vegetarian, a lot of vegan stuff, even if it's organic, there's a lot of pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides and fungicides in those foods, organic, schmorganic or not. Unless they're tested, I mean, you're going to trust a company. We used to be in the food business. Once I get certified, do you think anybody comes by to go ahead and see anything? You can buy things from the international. They'll throw certified. They'll give you a certificate of analysis called a C of A. Okay, how do you know it's all real? You have to do secondary, tertiary, all different lab reports. It's very hard. It's not easy because we found lots of stuff that they said was organic was crap. We sent it back or we lost our money. Like goji berries was loaded full of pesticides and they're supposed to be organic. So you got to watch a lot of stuff from China and just a lot of small countries because they're just playing around. So if you've got stools in your blood, you got big problems. Remember, you got most likely hookworms in your intestinal tract. I had this problem. And again, each one of these therapies and workshops that I'm showing you, I've thoroughly used them for many, many years. Thoroughly practiced with patients because that's what doctors do. We practice. We're practicing. Okay, remember, I saw 100,000 patient visits, seeing 30, 40, 50 people a day, every day, going nuts. From 8 o'clock in the morning and sometimes most of the time till 7 o'clock, at least until night. And a lot of times I didn't get home till 9 o'clock at night, depending on, you know, the emergencies and all the things that happens, you know, when you're in the office. And if you're there, okay, I see people. And that's the way it worked if you wanted to build your practice. So if you've got blood in your stools, again, you better wake up a little bit. You got to figure this out. And going to the doctor, just getting a colonoscopy, he's not going to even go ahead and ask you about parasites, this, that, whatever it is. Glyphosate in your food, pesticides in your food, oxalates in your diet because you have a high oxalate diet. Okay, they're not going to ask you any of this stuff here. So you got to figure it out yourself. So if you've got mucus in the stools, blood in your stools, you got parasites, guaranteed. How about that? Difficulty digesting foods, indigestion. You tell them, Hodo. Okay, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, and recurring stomach aches and pains. You eat and you got a stomach ache. You can't even push on your stomach because it hurts so bad all the time. I mean, your belly is, and even though you may be thin, your belly's sticking out like this. What is in that belly? And I did a video on that. What could be in that beer belly? Or another video is the antidote to body fat. Remember, body fat is a creature and it's alive. And you can slow its growth down. What do you think it is? Dead? Smelly BO, body odor. I haven't used antiperspirant garbage under my arms for 15 years. If I did an experiment, and I should do a video on this. I did a clove of garlic a day about maybe 6 months ago. Some guy, one of my friends, left over a big thing of garlic. And I wanted to do an experiment because I don't smell at all. Okay? And 1 clove of garlic I ate a day in my food, and after 2 days, I could smell this crap coming out of my skin. It's like this weird smell. And after 3 or 4 days, I had the worst frickin' BO. I never get BO, I never. So anyways, that was a good test. Remember, green onions, white onions, and garlic are poison. Sulfone hydroxylion goes inside you. It doesn't help you. If you cook the garlic, it doesn't help you. Remember, the garlic, any of the information that's on garlic is because it's raw. It's the allicin. It's a compound in the garlic. And once you cook it, you kill it. And you don't take it all the time. All it does is make you stupid. It makes you tired. It's poison. It desynchronizes your brain. Anyways, these are all pieces of the Earth Academy if you want to learn a little bit. So if you smell, body odor, whatever it is, could be because of parasites, could be because you're dehydrated, but again, it's because of your bloody diet. Constant mild to moderate headaches, vertigo. A lot of people get headaches, a lot. And once I start to put on people on different types of parasitic programs, okay, detoxification programs, those go bye-bye because they're toxic headaches. It's all they are. Daytime or nighttime muscle cramps, sweats, numbness of the hands and feet. Okay, these are all signs and symptoms of something neurological. Remember, you can get parasites inside your spinal cord. You can get parasites in your intestinal tract. You can get parasites in your brain. The tapeworms can go in any place in the body. They can go into the brain. You have a cat, You have the Toxoplasmic gondii parasite, the most infected parasite in the world on everybody. All the cats have this parasite, Toxoplasmic gondii. And I'm going to write a lot about this in, like I said, I did 180 pages. It's a book. And it'll just go to Earth 3 Academy members, and you can learn a lot about these parasites. And what are you going to do about it? And if you don't do anything about it, the crazy cat lady is real. Your brain starts to get calcified in here, and I show you the calcification of the CT scans of patients that have Toxoplasmic gondii. They're sclerotic, they're losing their memory. And this is all because, remember, everything needs to be worm that's in domestication. Any animal that you have, whatever it is, they're just passing anything they have to you. And your body's the same as them. There's no difference. I don't care if you're a dog, a sheep, a pig, a goat. They all have kidneys, spleen, liver, all have thousands of miles of cardiovascular system. Okay, everything's got 2 eyes. Okay, all these different, the physiology is the same thing. Parasites can live in any type of red blood, and they can even live not only in, you can call it warm-blooded animals, but they can live in fish. Watch the video I did on that, parasites in fish, from the local fish here in Hawaii. It's because of the feces from the humans. This is why. And all the local fish are infected. So if you're going to eat any fish, well, at least make sure they're not local fish anywhere there's humans. It's because all the sewage plants and everything, they just infect everything. So there are contraindications to using any of these things here. Okay, I don't care what it is that you're going to use. You never want to do any types of parasitic flushes or cleanses if you think you're pregnant or you are pregnant. And that goes for, I don't care if it's using anti-parasitic drugs. I'll show you several different ways that you can use this combination. I'll show you the percentages that we're going to use. Okay, because remember, cloves are for the eggs. Okay. Turkey rhubarb is to help loosen the stools and purge the intestines of the parasites that are deceased, sick, or in the fecal matter. So some of these herbs are to be able to make the parasites die, but then this other herb is to make it get out, flush it out. And then this herb, again, is to be able to make it so the eggs that all these parasites are laying day by day, at least we can go ahead and see if we can break down some of the eggshells, because that's what the research says. And remember, this stuff's been used for thousands of years. This isn't anything new. I learned this recipe when I was in the Amazon. And I've been, and from Amazonian doctors, different people, because remember, they use mostly herbs. Lately, they've been using anti-parasitic drugs too. But before, it was always learning from the medicine men, is because they use the herbs, the bitter herbs, and specifically certain bitter herbs to be able to get very effective parasite cleanses. And I've had people throw up, I've had people get sick by doing too effective of parasite cleanses. I mean, there's some doctors that have even shown people certain parasite cleanses, and you got killed too many parasites, and what happens is the patient gets very, 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 very sick. Okay, so anyways, you always start out slow on any therapy that you're doing. No matter what anything says is the therapy dose, you always do less. And you make sure also, a lot of people are on pharmaceuticals, guys, and there's a lot of contraindications by taking certain pharmaceuticals and certain types of things, like even grapefruit juice. Okay, these are PPG inhibitors. Okay, well, we talk about this, you know, so you can learn about it. Okay, but there are drug interactions. There are certain things, okay, that are just natural. Like, that's why they say don't mix grapefruit juice with anything, any drug, even if you're pregnant, whatever it is. Okay, because anything that's in your body, okay, what happens is, well, anyways, I don't want to get too deep in all that, but there is a lot to learn, and a lot of people are just shooting from the hip, taking a bunch of stuff. Okay, herbs by themselves are effective very minimally. If I just went ahead and took turkey rhubarb, it's just going to give me loose stools. Well, what's that for? Oh, if I'm constipated, that may work pretty good. If I just took the whole cloves, that's just to work on the eggs. I mean, that's very minimal. I could put a little bit of clove in my daily diet, okay, of ground cloves. Make sure they're fresh and organic. Okay, remember, it has eugenol in it. Remember, a lot of people smoke clove cigarettes. Okay, the eugenol in there. That's why they like smoking them, because they get high from the eugenol. The black walnut hulls. Okay, if you look under any walnut tree, you'll go ahead and see nothing grows under that sucker. Nothing. It's because there's poisons in those hulls. juglone or juglone, whatever way you want to say it. A lot of people say it a lot of different ways. So, you know, this is a chemical compound that kills certain parasites in the intestine. Remember, this is for the mouth to the anus. There are other cleanses that we use to be able to get parasites in different spots of the body. And you may want to go ahead and also review one more time how I use CD for various therapies. Remember, there's lots of good videos on learning about just parasites, what you're up against. Remember, parasites are real. And if you, well, let's put it this way, could it be possible that these parasites are the cause of many, many sicknesses, mentally, emotionally, physically? Watch the video I did on parasites and degeneration. Could there be a connection? Watch the video I did on parasites and toxicity. Could there be a connection? I have a whole series there just to open up your mind to this world of the most bizarre creatures that live in the dark, that know how to make a life cycle. Okay, look at the tapeworm. You swallow one of the eggs, it goes into the intestinal, the stomach. It says, okay, I think I can live in this body. Egg maturates, turns into a little tiny larva, drills a hole through the small intestine, goes into the artery, goes up to the hepatic, through the hepatic artery to the liver, makes a house in the liver. How does it know how to do that? Once it's made a house in the liver, it goes back into the bloodstream, goes into maybe the brain, makes babies there, makes eggs, goes into maybe the heart, maybe the spleen, the kidney, but it will end up in the lungs and you'll feel like you got the flu, sickness, mucus, coughing up, and all it's waiting for is for you, because it's in the lungs now, remember, it's waiting for you so it can finish its life cycle, to swallow one egg into the gut so it can turn into the tapeworm that it took 5 different cycles in the body to be able to come back to from which it started. You eat the egg, it leaves the small intestine, goes to the liver, goes into different organs, and finally comes back to the lungs on its final destination to get back into the gut. You swallow a little bit of the mucus, and there you go. Tapeworm king is in the gut. They can live up to 15, 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, the biggest tapeworm is like 80 feet bloody long in a human, they found. I know a lot of them I've seen that are 60 feet. Okay, you got anything to say, Hodo, before we hit the road? So on part 2, I'm going to go through how we use this, and we're going to use this in various different enteric-coated capsules, because we're going to go ahead and attack different parts of the intestine. I want to get it deeper in. I need to use different capsules to make sure they're not going to go through, and then we'll use ones that are like veggie capsules also, that are going to break apart in the stomach, and then they'll start from the stomach and go into the small intestine, versus these other ones, these other capsules are going to go ahead and break open further down into the small intestine, so we can make all, because the herbs only have so much power. So, and like I said, over 20 years of sort of fine-tooth the protocols. A lot of the herbs I used to use before are too aggressive. They're not aggressive on everybody. And like I said, even, you know, there's a lot of different ones. Cascara sagrada, very aggressive herb for killing tapeworms. Cascara sagrada, be careful if you use these things, okay? And if you are, you have to start out very slow. But like I said, this combination is a good combination. It's a beginning and intermediate cleanse, and it could be advanced depending on the amount of dose that you take and how you take it. Once a day, twice a day, or 3 times a day. Okay, anyways, we'll see you in part 2, guys. Like I said, all the information that we're going to go over protocols, dosages, how I break these down, and I'll even probably do a video in the back on me taking what we just made so I can show you the feelings of having me taking them. So we'll see about that. Anyways, all right, guys, part 2, and we'll see you in a little bit. You want one more? Oh, let's smell good. Here, take it from me. Here. You want it? He could rip my face off. And he loves the salted pistachios. That's like his favorite. If I put a piece of cheese, he'll go for that first. Then he'll go for the chicken bone. But if he hasn't had pistachios, like I give him about 6 or 7 of them a day. If he hasn't had one in a couple of days, he'll go for the pistachio #1 all the time. That good? Good, huh? Okay. Oh, they'll smell good. All right, guys, we'll see you part 2. Aloha. He even said it. All right, guys, we'll see you.